Hey everyone, this is Dogen, and welcome to the 7th episode of Japanese Phonetics by Dogen. In this episode, we're going to be introducing the various free third-party tools that you can use to supplement your Japanese phonetic studies. Just a heads up, this video will be slightly less formal because it's just, again, introducing these resources, but I hope that you're able to get a lot out of it. So the first item on this list is actually the built-in dictionary for Apple OS. I like to use an application called Alfred that allows me to immediately pull up any application on my computer. So if I type in DI, dictionary is the first thing that pops up because I use it often. Then I just press enter and my dictionary comes up. The dictionaries that are built in, or I guess built in and displayed by default, are the English to English Dictionary or New Oxford American Dictionary, the Thesaurus, the Apple Dictionary, and the Wikipedia Dictionary. So this obviously isn't good for studying Japanese. But if we go up to the Preferences pane within the Dictionary tab, we see that there are actually Japanese dictionaries built in to the Apple OS operating system. So Japanese native dictionary that native Japanese speakers would use, and there's also the Japanese to English dictionary. So these are both obviously extremely useful, but if we go into the Japanese to English or English to Japanese dictionary, we can type in any word that we want. So let's say student. And what we have here, if we type it in English, this will come up, and again, we can also type this in Japanese. So if we type in gakusei, then it'll have an English definition. So we can go either way. Either way works, and this is extremely useful, but this isn't good for phonetic studies because beyond the basic hiragana or whatever's going to be written here, this doesn't actually show us the pitch accent pattern of the word. So a lot of people are under the impression that you can't learn the pitch accent pattern of a word just by using a Japanese dictionary. And well, it's true for Japanese to English dictionaries, but not true for Japanese to Japanese dictionaries. So if we go over to the next pane, Japanese, we see that it's quite similar to the Japanese to English. We've got the hiragana and then the kanji right here. And then again, the hiragana and the kanji right here. But there's an icon here. It's a square with the number 0 in the middle of it. So what does this mean? And why am I able to click on this? Well, that's because the Apple built-in dictionary, believe it or not, actually has a comprehensive breakdown of all of the Japanese pitch accent patterns. So this is extremely useful for anyone that's studying Japanese. This is one of the reasons that I love and continue to use Apple computers. So this is all in Japanese, so this might be a little bit difficult to understand for people that are just beginning to learn Japanese. But basically, this is a breakdown, again, of all of the Japanese pitch accent patterns. And in my phonetic series, I break all of these down in English. So I talk about the 1, 2, 3, 4 Japanese pitch accent patterns and the differences between them, and also kind of the characteristics and what we need to be aware of as English speakers when we listen to Japanese. But we don't know just by knowing the names and the characteristics of the various phonetic patterns what the patterns of individual words are. So it's necessary to use a Japanese dictionary to look these up. So let's go back. We'll click back. And we can again click on this 0. So gakusei has a 0 right here. So we click on the 0. And we see that within this table, there's numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gakusei had a 0. So that means it's in this column right here. And that's the heibang pattern. So 0 meaning there's no downstep in the word because this number indicates where the downstep occurs in the word. Heibang doesn't have a downstep. Again, look up the phonetic videos that I've done in my Patreon series if you're interested in learning more about this. But we can see that any word with the 0 pattern is heibang, and any word that has 1 is in the atamadaka pattern. Ki for tree, or aki, or denki, or bungaku, or on and on and on. And then we can see that words that have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be in either the nakadaka or odaka family patterns. But if it's going to be one or the other, how do we know which of the families that it belongs to? The only difference between nakadaka and odaka is that for odaka words, this number will correspond with the number of mora that the word has. Command space, DI, any word, and then I can use Command 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to cycle between the dictionaries on the Apple computer. So as long as I'm at my computer, I can within seconds look up the pitch accent pattern for any word in Japanese. So I would encourage anyone who has an Apple computer to use this feature. It's free and it's fantastic. The only thing I would be aware of is that sometimes, although it's not common, these numbers, or I guess the pitch accent as written in this dictionary, is slightly different from what other dictionaries might say. So this is maybe 1 in 20, 1 in 30, 1 in 50 even. It's very, very rare, but it has occurred before. So I like to double cross or double check with my other resources that I'm going to introduce to you now. I have a bookmark that I call pronunciation, and I just click enter. And again, obviously I'm going to put links for this into the description box below. But in this tool, with the settings that I have set up here, all you need to do is type in any word and then go down and click this button, Analyze, right here. It'll take a few seconds while it loads. And then we can go down and we can see the pitch accent pattern for the word. Wow, this is fantastic, right? And we can even go further and click Generate. And I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this. I'll try and turn up my volume. But I can click playback now. Sensei. So I think you guys are probably able to hear that. But there's kind of this robot voice that will typically give a fairly accurate description. But this is kind of a dangerous resource. Before I touch on why, I'm going to show you that you can use this resource to do not only words, but entire sentences. So here we go. 私は山を登る. Oops. So rather than just a single word, we can see the entire pitch accent for this phrase. So if we look this up, playback. 私は山を登る. So again, this is extremely useful, but this tool is a lot like Google Translate. And what I mean by that is it's really good for individual words, and it usually gets individual words right. So if you don't have an Apple computer, this is a great source for looking up the individual pitch accent patterns in Japanese. But as things get more complicated, especially with compounds and verb conjugations and adjective conjugations, starts to make more and more and more mistakes. Just like how Google Translate will make more mistakes the longer and more complex the statement is. And now I'm going to open a website called Forvo. So Forvo, this is a fantastic resource. It's, as you can see, all the words in the world pronounced. So we can go in here and directly type in Japanese, sensei. Press enter, and we have different links down here. We have Japanese. There was a search result that had both the kanji and the hiragana, and then also it looked like Yoshioka. I'm not sure what this is, but what we want is this Japanese up here. So we're in the Japanese tab, and we're going to click down on the word itself right here. And it gives us a map of where these native speakers actually saying this word. This is not computer generated. This is actual native speakers saying the word. I've found that this native speaker, Strawberry Brown, it's a female speaker. It looks like she's based out of Tokyo. Is usually the best in here because, again, it's always sounded to me like she speaks standard Japanese. So all we need to do is click on this play button. Sometimes you have to click it twice. Sensei. Sensei. We can hear the word. We can hear almost any word in Japanese. And this is not computer generated speech. This is an actual native speaker pronouncing or saying the word for us. So this won't give us the pitch accent pattern. But if we're on a Mac, what we can do is we can go, again, open up the dictionary. And we know that the word is in the Nakadaka pattern, and that it's going to be, again, 4 mora and 3. So 4 mora, 3. So this is what the pitch accent pattern of the word looks like if you include the particle as well. But if we only look at this, it's a little bit difficult. So what we do is we look at this, and then we go back to this resource, and we play it.
Sensei.
We use this audio and this waveform rather than the text that is here. And this is, arbitrary. This could be any word that has the downstep on the third particle and for mora. But we use these resources in conjunction to develop our Japanese phonetic abilities. We want to get kind of the visual and audio representation at the same time. And it's typically what I've found, it's the synergy of having the graph available to look at and also hear the audio at the same time. So use this website, use the pronunciation website if you don't have an Apple computer. And again, here we have the pitch accent pattern, and we can put the particle in here as well. Sensei ga. And that's the correct pitch accent pattern. So these are free resources. I hope that this wasn't too redundant. This was one of the few unscripted videos that I've done since starting YouTube in January. So forgive me for all the little mistakes that I made, but go out and use these resources. These are fantastic Japanese resources that are readily available and almost never used in the classroom. So if you want to speak Japanese well and you want to get as close to native speech as you can, use these resources. And if you're interested in Japanese phonetics, I would encourage you to check out my Patreon series, Japanese Phonetics by Dogen. I use the series to break down the complicated Japanese pitch accent terms in easy to understand English. So I won't go beyond that, but your support on that platform really helps out the channel. So if you're interested, again, please check it out. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck with your Japanese studies.